Does anyone have any questions on anything we've done today at all?
No, I really like the both feet in the middle, the heel to knee.
Yeah.
That's
What you're basically trying to do is you're trying to get a knee in the middle with your heel right by your other knee, and you want that formation to be as close to his sitting bone as possible. That's what I'm working on doing to everybody right now. I don't really care what happens. They might knock me backwards occasionally. I might end up putting my hand on the mat because they've knocked me or whatever, but I'm just figuring that out. But it's essentially, if I keep my head up, it makes it much harder. Like if I can try not to look at them, it makes it much harder for them to knock me over. Once my head does this, it's much more likely I'm gonna have to put my hand to the mat.
yeah.
And so I'm just kind of figuring out how to get into that dominant middle position as near to his sitting bone as possible. Because the closer I am to his sitting bone, the harder it is for him to push me as well, with his feet, with whatever. Yeah, so getting close to that sitting bone is pretty critical on the passes. And then it becomes a game from the bottom of it. You don't want him anywhere near your sitting bone, because that's my marker of it. Laten's trying to put his foot to my sitting bone, I'm in guard, right? I just want to keep that space as big as I can. So I'm trying to extend, he can try and pummel that leg back in, right? And the closer he gets that connection, if he's the difference, I can tell you, between that and move back about half an inch. And that is night and day. There I've got a sweep attempt and an attack, and if he penetrates that deep, it's like I can't even put my foot properly on his, I can't do anything to him. And it's just that connection at the sitting bone. And what we realised yesterday, as I was playing around with this, is the leg lock game. Anytime that we're in a leg lock position, to sit on your bum, anytime we're in a leg lock position, and I'm trying to connect to him, this is exactly the same idea. I'm trying to put my foot as close to his sitting bone as I can. I'm trying to get my heel and knee together, and I'm trying to get in close here.
So you're kind of turning his pelvis over with the back of your
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with his pelvis, to be honest. I'm just, all I'm saying to you is I'm just, the closer I can get to that sitting bone, and then bring all the troops in, the heel and knee are together.
Yeah.
This is pretty bad now. When I start trying to attack his heel, this all cinches up. And so this space, getting as near as I can into that sitting bone, is like where the control is. You see, as I start connecting my sitting bone and heel, you know, it does start to turn. But that's the basic, that configuration, that connection of trying to get on the hip bone, wherever the hip bone is, trying to get on the hip bone. I'm trying to get on sitting bones. If I'm this side, I'm right on his sitting bone. I'm pinching knees and heels, knees and heels together, and then everything starts to kind of just connect for attacks and whatever, because I'm mechanically sound. So that's all the way through the leg lock game. It's just everywhere. It's just everywhere. So that initial connection to the sitting bone is huge, absolutely huge. Leg locks, penetration step, ready to set the pass up, and it being like really connected. It's like you're trying to, it's actually like, and Delahiva's the same from the bottom. You're basically trying to curl around his hip bone, and a lot of the time the other leg is the sitting bone. You're either at the back of the knee or at the sitting bone, and there's nothing in between. Everything is an attempt to sort of do something to the back of the knee or to the sitting bone. So getting used to feeling even where your sitting bones are, because a lot of people don't really think about this, I don't think. You think about where your sitting bone is, that's where you're trying to connect. It's just the side of the butt crack. And it's just a big joint that you can connect into, and you start elevating and you start lifting people up. Yeah, the other thing that Verity used to talk about is the actual butt crack itself, is using your butt crack as a guide. But I think the reason a lot of that works is actually because of where it puts your sitting bone. It puts your sitting bone so close to their hip joint that you kind of can't miss on hip throws. It's the same thing. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Have a good bank holiday.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.